God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all our decisions. Bless us all to be the very best we can with your help and guidance. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Which one?
Roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Here.
Miss Gaston,
Here.
Miss Alexander,
Here.
Miss Keratin,
Here.
Miss Clear,
Here.
Mr. Davis,
Here.
Miss Chichester.
Okay, so everybody has the agenda in front of them. I do want to make a note on the agenda that our guest speaker that is mentioned on there will not be here tonight. They'll be here on April 6th. So stay tuned for that one. Anyone else have anything with the agenda, or do I hear a motion?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Okay. And what are we amending?
I would like to add an executive session after further remarks from the audience.
Okay, and what's your verbiage?
So my executive session, section G1, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official. And I would like to add G3 for conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject of pending or imminent court action.
Excellent. Do I hear a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Alexander?
I second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Alexander to add executive session into our agenda. Sorry. For G1 and G3, what was the
Yes, ma'am.
section again?
G1 and G3 is correct.
Okay, I just thought there was like a 104.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, the one.
Oh, sorry. The 122.22.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
That one.
yes.
Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yeah.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Keratin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Do I hear a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Alexander?
I'll second.
So I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Zorb and a second from Ms. Alexander to accept the agenda as amended. Roll call?
Miss Zorb,
Yes.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Keratin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
All right, everybody should have the minutes in front of them from 3/2/2026. Has everybody had a chance to read them and anything to bring up about them? And sorry, before anybody else talks, Ms. Gaston, can you tell me again where you were wanting to put that executive session? I apologize, I was wanting to write that down.
Absolutely, no problem. I would like to have the executive session after further remarks from the audience.
Okay.
And just for clarification, I would like all of council, our mayor, our city administrator, our law director, and our interim chief, Mr. Craig Cheney.
Thank you very much
No
for that
problem.
clarification. Okay, now back to the minutes. I have not heard anything about them yet.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion that we adopt the minutes as is.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Alexander?
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Alexander to accept the minutes as is from 3/2/2026. Motion. Roll call?
Ms. Sorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston.
Yes.
Ms. Alexander.
Yes.
Ms. Curitan.
Yes.
Ms. Clear.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Ms. Clear, is there any communications?
I am working on indexing our meeting minutes and committee minutes and kind of like making that. And we're still missing quite a few committee minutes. So if you guys have any of those, please send them over to me. That way we can stay in compliance with the sunshine laws. That's all.
Ms. Clear, just so we can, for clarification, what time frame are you looking for after a committee meeting to receive those minutes usually going forward?
So I checked with the law and it just says within a reasonable amount of time, but I think some cities say like, I think it's 15 business days. But council rules also just say within an
Okay.
acceptable amount of time. So whatever you guys deem that to be.
Excellent, thank you.
Madam President,
Ms. Sorb?
as a point of clarification, so if a meeting happens, I'm going to make up numbers, if a meeting happens on the 1st, we would not accept the minutes, similar to what we just did tonight. We wouldn't accept them until the next meeting. And since we are now on a 1-month schedule, that 15 days would never happen.
Okay. So
I just wanted to point that out.
No, that's a very good clarification. So, council, it seems to be like a 30-day turnaround would be proper. Does anyone have any conversation in regards to that?
Madam
Ma-
President,
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
I don't know, she was
I
first.
would just like to say, can we just make it at the next meeting?
Okay.
Because if someone cancels the meeting, then I'm
Makes,
just trying to,
make it workable.
one more general rule.
I get you. Ms. Clear?
Thank you, Madam President. I also just want to make us aware too that if there is a public records request for a committee, it does not have to be accepted before it is a public record. A draft would still be considered a public record even before it's accepted by the committee itself at the following meeting.
Well, since it seems like it's a little more,
Yeah,
not so cut and dry, do you mind maybe looking at it during your committee meeting?
I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Madam President, just a little clarification.
Mr.
Ms. Clear
Dieters.
is correct that a draft is a public record, but not if it's not yet been distributed to people. So if it was my job to keep the minutes of the committee meeting and I still have them and I've done them, but I haven't given them for anyone to look at yet, they would still not yet be a public record, not until they're actually distributed to people. Just to make it clear.
Thank you, Mr. Dieters, for that clarification. Okay, do we have anybody signed up for public comments?
There is nobody signed in for public comments.
Okay, and as we spoke before, there is no guest speaker for tonight. Okay, we're gonna move on to our committee reports. Rules and Public Policy, Ms. Clear?
Thank you. We met last on March 9th and actually got quite a bit accomplished. Thank you to everyone who supported increasing our meeting time. I think that helped tremendously. We first talked about the Iron Mountain offsite public record storage, because that was in this committee from several months ago. Ultimately, where we landed was the paper copies are going to come back. We're going to explore, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We do have a document retention policy. Our documents, public records, and that policy are going to be reviewed by the city's existing Public Records Commission, which the mayor did bring up, that they will be reconvening to talk about reviewing the policy, modernizing the policy if necessary. And where we landed with our actual physical records is that they're going to come back to city custody, essentially, and we're going to allow the contract to expire. That was the recommendation in May for Iron Mountain. The reason for that is that we already currently physically have the digital versions as well in 2 different places. So we felt pretty comfortable making that recommendation. I'm not sure if there's
any legislation required to allow a contract to expire, but that's where we are with that. Secondly, we discussed acquiring fireproof cabinets to store those documents, and we're in the process of getting quotes for that. So, and since they are council records, that would be a council expenditure, but we're not at that bridge yet, but it is coming. So that we will have those costs for that, and we'll possibly be talking about that at a future meeting. The second major point of the agenda that we discussed was public health initiatives legislation, which is in the packet today for a first reading. And we did, my handwriting is not great on this, I apologize. So that is on the agenda for a first reading. This is an offshoot of some work that's been done for several months with the We Thrive Hamilton County Public Health Group. It is recommended. It allows us to set a framework for the city that we are in support of public health initiatives. It enables us to bring resources, grants, partnerships into the city, and it demonstrates public support. So it doesn't allow any specific expenditures necessarily, but it is a statement of public support and council support for these initiatives in the city. So that is on the legislation for a first reading tonight. And then also we discussed the city administrator's report, how that would look, what content would be in it, timing. We did not finish discussion of that topic, so that will carry through to our next meeting. And our next meeting will be scheduled will take place on April 13th at 6 p.m. And Ms. Chichester will preside because I will be absent that day.
Okay. Yep. Thank you for the update. Ms. Cureton.
Thank you so much, Madam President. We met on March the 9th. We had a loaded meeting, and I am too appreciative of the 1 hour time allotment. I do believe that allows us to get a lot more accomplished in the former 30 minutes. In that discussion, we spent an extended period of time, or extensive, should I say, period of time talking about the speed bumps and what we saw, what citizens have shared, and really what we want to do moving forward. There was a call to have some of our key leaders in the city to come to the table, our interim police chief, our superintendent, and others, to have a discussion about what we really need to do to ensure, since we are a walking district, what we want to do to better ensure that the children are safe walking to and from school, and not just the students, but also the pedestrians. We're getting closer to the fall, we're not getting closer to fall, we're getting, thankfully, we're getting closer to spring and summer, and so a lot of people are going to be out. We want to make sure that nobody has the ability to speed in our city. We really want to crack down on that. We also want to make sure that people are not cutting through certain parking lots, and just making sure that we have a better safety plan in place for North College Hill. And so I'm looking forward to having further extended conversation with our interim police chief, city administrator, and others. We also talked about the generators in North College Hill, and thankfully we've not had a need for them recently. However, it's good to know that if we do need them, they are available for rental. And then we talked about some of the highlights in our city. I know that there's been, citizens have observed it, and business owners have seen where there is just an abundant amount of trash in just random places. And so our code enforcer is working diligently with those businesses, with those residents, just to make sure that we crack down on the safety and making sure that our codes are enforced in the city. Our next meeting is also on April the 13th. And I just want to remind everyone that public safety is built through partnership, accountability, and a shared commitment to community. Whether you live here, whether you work here, whether you play here, we have the beautiful business that's across the street, the pickleball court. There's going to be a lot of things booming in North College Hill, so it does require everyone to come to the table so that we can ensure North College Hill remains safe. Thank you.
Also, Ms. Cureton, you said that you're going to have that date coming up where you're going to bring in the city leaders and discuss with them about speeding. Is there any way you could also touch base on light running?
Absolutely.
Because that is a huge, especially in front of Kroger's.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to make mention, thank you so much, Madam President. I do want to make mention that email has already gone out to the administrator and to the chief and to a few others in the city. So, and of course, our superintendent. So we're just waiting for a date that works well with everyone so we can have the right people at the right table to get the right results.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
All right. City Community Development and Recreation, Ms. Gaston.
Well, thank you, Madam President. We have not met this month, but we are going to meet March 23rd, and we will discuss upcoming events for the city. We will also touch heavy on the outdoor fitness center that is coming here to North College Hill. We will discuss the 1500 building. And if anyone is interested or has any questions, they can send it to me, or you can come and we will allot time for you to speak at the podium and have things answered live. So our meeting is next Monday from 6 to 7. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gaston. Budget and Finance, Ms. Zorb.
Thank you, Madam President. The next Budget and Finance meeting will be on March the 23rd at 7 p.m., and I look forward to some very interactive conversations. And if you have any questions about the finances of North College Hill, please do not hesitate to email me. My email address is mjzorb@northcollegehill.org. I almost gave out my real work one. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right. Do we have any ad hoc reports tonight? Okay.
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester.
We Thrive meeting is this Friday, March the 20th at 2 p.m. Yeah, I couldn't remember the time. I knew it was Friday.
And Ms. Gaston, when is our next school board meeting?
Our next school board meeting is the second Monday of April
Second Monday of April.
at 6:30.
All right, excellent. Now, again, before we go into admin reports for this evening, I do want to mention that we want to keep all of our questions back and forth from the administration, back and forth with council to this section and not during call of members. So, Mayor's report. Mayor Nichols.
Thank you, Madam President. I really don't have a lot. What I had, I left on my desk. So, spring break is this week, as you all know, for our kids. I don't know how much of a spring break they'll have because it's so cold and it's snowing on their first day. So, just keep in mind if they are out and about, our newsletter should be out this week. You should receive it, however you receive it, email or in the mail. And CIC meets this Thursday at 6:30. And that's all I have.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston,
I have a question for the mayor.
go ahead.
Ms. Nichols,
Yes, ma'am.
is there a BAZ meeting this week? BZA, sorry.
BA, not to my knowledge. I have not received an email that there is one. Have you gotten anything? No.
Madam President?
Are you?
Sorry to interrupt,
Ms. Zorb.
Madam Mayor. I got an email said there is one this week.
I didn't receive one.
I got an email said that there's one this week at 4:30 on Wednesday.
You didn't receive one either? I did not receive one. Did they say what the issue?
No.
So-
I got the email on March the 18th at 4:30 p.m. to say, excuse me, no, I didn't. Sorry, reading the wrong thing.
Just as bad as
I got it yesterday. And it says it's on March the 18th at 4:30.
That is Thursday. Is that
I'm sorry?
That's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
We didn't receive one.
I didn't either.
Can you forward it?
Can.
So apparently there is one. We just weren't made aware of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
No
you
more
for that
questions.
clarification,
But
Ms.
I'll
Gaston.
find out
and
what
Ms.
it's
Zorb.
about.
Madam President.
Yes, Ms. Curitin.
Mayor Nichols, when is the newsletter going to be released?
Well, it's coming out next. Okay. It was supposed to be this week, so apparently there was a slight shift or delay, so next week. The earlier part, Monday,
No, probably by Wednesday.
by Wednesday.
It takes 3 days for it to be circulated. We're on schedule.
Is there a way that we can keep a digitized copy on the website
We typically do
We
put
do.
one up. Once it's,
with all of the pages?
I believe it is.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Madam President.
No,
We
go
put
ahead.
it out there for those people who do not particularly like paper or just don't get one. They can go to the website and review it that way.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
I do have one more quick question regarding the newsletter that is sent out. Are we updating the addresses so that, let's just say there is a house that was no longer, or excuse me, that was previously not occupied and now that it is? How do we keep a rolling track record of those properties to ensure?
Well, the vendor that we use, they usually take care of that.
Okay,
I'm
good.
not sure what their policy is, but that's part of it. So they do, I forget what they call it with the mailings, where they can go out and detect. She's shaking her head. She probably knows more. It's clear.
Madam President.
But each one is different. We've had one before when we first looked at it where we would have to do it, which was a lot of legwork. So then we found a vendor who could pull the mailings and get it out that way.
Thank you. Ms. Gaston, did you have a question?
Just really quickly, I'm glad that there is a system because the CCDR committee is really eager to get back out there with the welcome baskets. So if there is a way that we can find out who is new to the neighborhood, I know we have some businesses that are new and people are always moving in and out of North College Hill. I am super excited to get with them and let them know about Rita and all that cool stuff. So if there's a way I can get connected with them so that maybe there can be a running log or something so that the committee can get to those homes.
Ms. 16, she's writing it down.
Thank you.
Ms. Clear, did you have a question?
I had a remark, a question, I guess. But the notification, I just want to clarify with my fellow council members, but the one that I received regarding BZA was the automated, because I subscribe to receive meeting updates, and that's the email that I got for BZA. So somebody either added it to the city calendar on the website or intended to edit it, and it sent out a notification. That's the one that I received. So just in case anyone's wondering that an email was actively sent to specific people but not others, I don't think that was the case. The one I got was the automated because I subscribed to the calendar on the city website. That was the first thing. I don't know what else went out. I didn't see anything else other than that. Secondly, the database we're referring to is the NCOA, which is the National Change of Address database that is maintained by the U.S. Postal Service, and a lot of your mass mailing organizations will, probably for if upon request, but typically they will run your mailing list through that because they don't want to get return mail either, you know, for things that they send out. So that's what that's intended to prevent, is to get on the front end of it before things go out. But it's through the United States Postal Service National Change of Address database.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Ms. Nichols?
I did have one other thing. I'm trying to pull it up really quickly. So, as you are aware, Madam President, I had sent an administrative request to you, just some requests that administration had talked over, and we talked it over with the law director about some requests that we had as administration as far as it would pertain to reports, communication with staff. I do understand that just like with your rules, with the acts that it's just a lot sometimes. So we're only asking, we can send this document out, or if we could have it put into one of the committees for review. There's just some things that we think as administration that we have to have some particular guidelines. We want to work with council, but we want that process to be clear and clean and cut. So to be honest, there was just an overwhelming amount of emails that administration, Ms. Dukes-Dean herself, was receiving. And then to find out that some of those same emails were going to department heads and she was copied on. So sometimes it just puts like a halt to even work that she's doing. So when you send an abundance of emails, then she has to stop to try to get it out. So we're just asking that council would work with us, just as we work with you with your council rules. I know with some parts on there, me and Ms. Whitlisbach had a conversation, and she felt like one of the things that we proposed is some of the questions would go to her, and she would filter and bring to us. That wasn't an option for her. So we just need to come up with something that's going to work for council and administration as far as communication goes. Because we want to get you those things that you asked for. We want to get it to you timely, but we also need to be given some grace in it. So I don't know how we want to do it, if you want to bring it up in somebody's committee, or we can just send out our ask, and if you have any questions, then you can ask those questions or any concerns.
Madam President.
Wait, hold on. Was that you, Ms. Chichester? Back
Yes.
down? You want to go first real quick?
Since she had brought up that it should be in committee, I was suggesting Ms. Clear, she's gonna kill me, rules and public policy, since I guess we're creating a rule around that, or policy around it.
Are we?
Madam President, can I,
Yeah.
I
Go
don't know
ahead,
if you need
Mr.
to create a
Davis.
rule. I think that, I see this a lot with boards of education do, like with the superintendent or a treasurer. If there's, basically 8 of you, basically, right? If 8 people are asking the same person a lot of different questions, and there's redundancies and there's overlap, and there's no one that's taking accountability of how much is actually going through the pipeline, how much bandwidth you have, it becomes really difficult for individuals to deal with that. So I think the initial suggestion that the mayor made is, I said, well, maybe perhaps president of the council could monitor how much is going back and forth, because if every one of you ask a question on the same day, and every one of you is a 40-minute response to get the information, that could consume someone's whole week, and you wouldn't even, I wouldn't know that one of my other council people was also asking for something, right? So it gets difficult to do that sometimes when you, quote, are working for potentially 7, 8, or 9 different people. So I think it probably would benefit everyone if you guys had a process in place, because everyone would kind of know where things are going, how they're going. I just think I know Rita's
Madam
isn't saying
President.
anything, but I think it's becoming difficult for her to deal with it.
Ms. Gaston?
I was next.
Oh, I apologize. Ms. Cureton?
Thank
go
you so
ahead.
much. So I just want to ask Mayor Nichols, what were some of your acts before any of us say, let's put it in a committee? What were some of your acts? Or maybe if we could, Madam President, maybe we can go over whatever document she's created. I don't know if anyone, Ms. Chichester or whoever on this council, or Ms. Alexander, if anyone has seen anything. So we would love to hear what's included in your request, so that we can see if we are able to honor those. I don't know if we want to create a
Would
rule.
you like for me just to send it out to you?
Rather
or-
you can just talk through them if you can.
Okay,
Would
so,
rather get it.
Madam President,
I'm sorry.
I had a question.
Zor-
Ms. Chichester?
Didn't we as council discuss this in our initial meeting when we were discussing council rules about emailing? I think at one point we suggested we go to the council president, committee member presidents. I think we were talking, I don't think it was directly pertaining to the city administrator, but it was more along department heads. So it's kind of tied together. So I remember we were having that discussion. But I
Madam
think we
President.
tabled it and we did not revisit it and make a determination on that.
Ms. Gaston?
I believe that Ms. Chichester is correct. If there were any questions, to email them to the chair, but that gets a little fuzzy when it's administration, because I may have a different question than Mr. Davis, but I will give grace. I don't have to have an immediate response, if I have to wait till the next meeting because of workload. I understand and I respect that, but I kind of feel icky if I have to send my question that I may only want Ms. Dukestein to have to President of Council to determine if my question is worthy enough to be sent to the city administrator, that kind of. But I,
And that's
Brielle
where I was coming
Gaston,
from.
I am saying that if it takes her a week to respond, to give me a good, thorough response, and I don't mind waiting as long as I know, hey, Ms. Gaston, I've received your email. Give me some time.
Madam President. I'm
Well,
sorry.
and let me say too, I didn't say, when I initially read the idea that was sent to me, everything over my just skimming over the parts of it, it wasn't that it sounded unreasonable. It's the fact of, and I'm in agreement with Ms. Gaston, is I feel like if I'm an extra filter to an email that may need to be addressed in a more timely fashion to where I get it, then I get, it's adding another layer of bureaucracy to an email that may already take time to get answered because of the busyness of the administration. So my thing is I do feel like it does need discussion because I understand that the administration is busy. You're running a city,
Yes.
okay? And I think all of us can nod our heads and say, yes, we agree you're running a city. But I do understand where if you're sending an email, you might, think, oh, I should be getting an answer back in 24 hours when you're going, hey, I may not be able to get an answer back for you in a week or two because I have to talk to other people to get that answer. It's not just coming from me. I have to find the answer. So I do believe it's something that does need to be discussed as an expectation from us to you and also from you to us.
Yeah. Okay.
Madam President.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Mayor Nichols.
Ms. Nichols.
So with that being said, it's sort of just like, if I could say, like with council rules, you have council rules, and we have to abide to those rules. We're just asking that you abide to these to a certain degree. We understand that there are things that you want, that you are in need of in order to make decisions. Same this way. If I can be honest, just sometimes when some of the emails that Ms. Dukes-Dean would receive, they would be directive like now, like get it done. I mean, and that's really, if you think about it, it puts a different type of pressure on that person, like, okay, I just got it. So then we say, we want it by such and so. Well, such and so may not be your such and so. It may not be until 3-4 days later, because sometimes she may have to go investigate to 2-3 different people and wait for their part, and it may not be just as soon as we would like it. I mean, even for me, sometimes I'm like, and I have to come back and say, okay, I know you're probably waiting on this. Well, okay, right? So we're just asking, I think it'll make everything a little bit more smoother. We want to be just as transparent as possible, and I always say, a lot of times, people want A to Z real quick, but we're probably just at M. We got to get from A to M before we can get to the Z. We want to deliver it to you, but we want it to be efficient. We want it to be correct and what you asked for, so you don't have to come back and say, hey, where's the rest of it? Right? And I think that's what we're running into a lot of times.
Madam President.
Ms. Clear, actually, I was let me go first and then you could answer and go and do your thing. It was my understanding that this is already being partially discussed in your committee about communication to the administration.
That you read my mind. I was actually, I think, not necessarily with the specific bullet point, which is about the report, but it's kind of a tangent to that. So I think as we continue to evolve that process, the emails with questions will be less. And it will work its way out because we'll have a mechanism in place to where we can kind of proactively communicate this information to each other on a regular basis, in which case the emails between meetings would probably be the exception if something extraordinary happened, in between meetings, to where we would not proactively be already getting that communication from you, which we're already working toward getting to that model. So I think over time, the problem might solve itself, just by other means that we're working on communicating with each other on a more routine basis, that some of the stuff that comes up and we're gonna have questions, and if we're okay waiting until the next meeting, it might be answered anyway in the next meeting, right? So that's what I'm getting at. And as I think we're already kind of in a good path forward, just to kind of, and I don't know if you sent that email today. I didn't see it, but I haven't seen it yet. But I think as we continue to evolve this process and work toward getting our communications on a more scheduled and routine basis, a lot of these one-off emails will probably dissipate, other than stuff that's an emergency. That's just my feeling, and I don't know if anyone else. I can see kind of maybe a couple months down the road, it's going to be so routine. We're just going to be used to it, and we're going to know what's coming next, what we can expect in the next report, and I think this problem's going to work itself out. Frankly, that's my 2 cents.
Madam President.
I was about to move on, if you'd like Ms. Curitin to.
Yeah. I actually had asked a question about 3 or 4 questions ago that never got answered to the mayor. So if it's okay,
Yes.
I wanted to circle back around to that. So Mayor Nichols, I think that the consensus is that you can send us your request. If I can also make that statement that sometimes it might be an inundation of emails because the request to council was to have the city administrator CC'd on every email that we send. So that too, when you're on a CC, I don't really read them. However, if the request from administration is to be CC'd on every email, then that 10 can turn into 50 really, really quickly. But if you can send us that information. And then I also wanted to say to Mrs. Clear's point, once we have that administration report on a consistent basis, that probably will answer a lot of the questions that we have. And I also believe that just in our professional work as well, if we get an email, a simple acknowledgement to say, hey, Kathy Curitin, I got your email. Give me 72 hours or give me until next week. I just want to let you know I acknowledge receipt of your email, but at least I need some time to get your answers. And I think that too would be sufficient, whether it's 3 days or even sometimes longer. I think this council will be able to work around that. So if you can answer that original question I asked, what some of your requests were.
That are in the document?
Just maybe 1 or 2, just at the top of your list.
I'm trying to get back in here. Making sure I'm looking at the right one, because it was like 2 different drafts. One of the ones was request for reports. When council requests a report or information during a council committee meeting or otherwise, the request will be honored and presented at the next scheduled committee meeting. That's the first portion of that one. Typically, that was the process unless it's emergent. So if you ask something in committee, you give us a time to research, and we will bring it back at the next committee meeting. So we've had some instances where something was asked in a committee 2 days later or 3 days later, hey, where's this information? Okay, we got it I can't speak for everybody else, but in my job, and a lot of times I work from a list. And so then you have to prioritize that list. Well, okay, this was given to me on Monday, and in your head, you're thinking, okay, I have at least 3 more Mondays before I need to come up with an answer. So not saying necessarily you shift it to the bottom, but sometimes you can, and then sometimes you work on things, what's complicated or what's not, right? So if 2 + 2 is 4, you know the answer to that, but then if you got to go down and do this other equation that maybe is geometry, you putting that at the bottom, right? So I think that's what this is like. So just sometimes I think we're not allotted the time to get the answer, and we want it like popcorn. You want it today. If we have it today, and I've spoken with Ms. Dukes-Dean on some of that. If she has it and she knows it, she's willing to send it prior to that next meeting. But that was just one of the asks. It's not a lot. It's only like, there were 4 things. We removed one when Ms. Whitler spoke.
Thank you.
After talking to her.
Okay, moving on to the city administrator's report.
I just wanted to go back, and I looked through my email. I think Ms. Clear is correct. I'm not sure if someone added or took away a meeting for BZA, but I don't have any communication for BZA, and typically what happens is they will send out a cancellation notice, and they only meet if they have a topic. I actually haven't received a cancellation just yet, but I also believe that they're scheduled to meet this week. So that's odd. I can email them tomorrow and ask if there is one, and then let council know what the topic is, because what also happens if there is a meeting, they will send out an agenda, because I'm supposed to be at the meetings. I didn't receive a cancellation and I didn't receive a meeting notice. So probably someone's on the city website looking at it or doing something with it, and it prompted that email. So to date, I don't know if there is a meeting. And then I wanted to remind council that there are sunshine laws for new council members. You have to take them within your term. And then, prompted by Ms. Zorb and I, we were speaking, there was the fraud training distribution of a link. So most of you that are new gave me back a sheet that says that the city distributed it to you, the link for you to finish the test or the training. You have 90 days from the day that you started to get that finished, and you have to have your certificate. So the auditor would be looking for that. We're in 26, so when we get our audit for 26, that's when they'll be looking for it. But if Jillian would like to make sure that the HR person gets those certificates of completion so that we can put them in your files, it would be very helpful. I don't know if you want to save them electronically, and then we'll put them in the actual files. But that part of it is governed by you all. So I don't have any kind of say-so. I will tell you, as I had said to some of you individually, I actually do like to get their certificate because it is proof that I have distributed it, and it just gets it out of the way for you all, so it's less work on Jillian. We can kind of shoulder that work and get it in your files. But different council members select the different options as it pertains to that. So please make sure that you go through Jillian and then it comes over to us so that we can be in compliance and we won't have any issues moving forward. And then I wanted to go over, kind of in the same vein of what we were talking about, just my own personal response to some of the things that have kind of been said publicly. And I wrote it down so that I would not lose my train of thought, so please allow me the courtesy of reading this to you. It says, "Good evening, North College Hill City Council. During the first meeting of March, several matters were addressed publicly that I would like to clarify for the record. On Friday, February 20th at 9:50 a.m., administration received an email requesting a briefing regarding the February 18th student walkout, which included a list of specific questions. Later that same day, I responded by email acknowledging the receipt of the request and indicating that administration and the police department were gathering requested information and that a response would be provided the following week, as the request was made on Friday. I responded to everyone. On Wednesday, February 25th, at 1:40 p.m., I received an additional email outlining a set of expectations regarding the timing of the briefing to council. Although the time frame referenced in my initial response had not yet passed, on Friday, February 27th, within the previously indicated time frame, administrative provided council with the requested information. Based on comments made during that March meeting, it appeared that there may have been an understanding that it took 9 days to respond to that request. I would like to clarify that administration acknowledged the request that same day it was received and provided the full response within the time frame that have been communicated, rather than the 9 days. Actually, it was about 4 business days. Additionally, in January, council requested that the monthly administrative reports be provided in written format in place of verbal reporting. Administration honored this request beginning the first council meeting in February, again providing the written report for the March meeting. During the discussion about the March report, concerns were raised that certain information was not included. While written reporting can be a helpful communication tool, reporting may occur both verbally and in writing. in order to ensure that administration, specifically myself on the administrative reports, monthly administrative reports, is that I'm providing council with the information that is most useful to you all. It would be helpful to receive a template identifying the specific items council would like to be included on in a written report moving forward. This would provide a clear direction and help to ensure that reports focus on the information that council finds most valuable. Typically, I have been doing verbal reports, which the charter does not discourage that. I records request the email that was sent out to council comparing the two administrative reports. And so that administrative report that was compared, where mine was compared, that was 10 years ago. I think that each council group has a specific set of information that they would like to hone in on. I actually don't have any issue giving written reports. I think it takes the labor of me talking through everything out of it. I also think that it is a tangible document that you can hold on to from month to month. So I think it would be a great add to the communication. However, I think it is a lot to ask that I would know specifically what you're looking for. So whilst I know there is a piece of legislation in committee to talk about that, I think a template would be very helpful.
Yes.
Especially since it has been out of practice for the city administrator to give a written report for quite some time. So my role did not come into reporting that way. So again, I'm happy to make the adjustments. If a template was provided, then I can make sure that what you're wanting specifically can be given.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
quick question, Ms. Dukestein, would it be something that maybe we can collaborate together on?
Absolutely.
Something that, you know, one-on-one, two-on-one, whatever that looks like, and that way you're comfortable with it, council agrees with it, and we could just move forward.
Absolutely.
Madam-
So if I could respond to your comment.
Yes.
One of the comments, and I don't remember where or who, was that it be provided with quantitative and qualitative information, and data in every department can't be denoted that way. So it would be remiss to just assume that there's going to be charts and graphs in every single area. And sometimes in some months it would be more appropriate to deliver that. For example, like I see no problem with providing that for code enforcement every single month, as we identify maybe some specific things like how many violations have gone out, how many have been remediated, and those types of things. That's no problem. That's really easy to provide the qualitative data. However, in some other spaces, it's a little more difficult, like recreation. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, Ms. Clear specifically said afterwards, hey, can you give an update on recreation? Absolutely. That's just been a little bit slow moving because we don't have anybody in that role. She started today.
Well,
She's ready to
amen.
go. And so we're back moving. And also just one more thing that I remembered, the newsletter is slated to go out the end of this week, next week. So it'll be distributed. I just wanted to reiterate that because we're in the final stages of getting it out. So.
Madam President?
Ms. Clear?
I coincidentally or not, Ms. Zorb and I attended Center for Local Government training on Saturday morning and probably spent an hour about council and admin relations, communications, things like that. So I'm thinking that that might be a resource
Yeah.
potentially for templates or what other city managers and councils have done that's been effective. We don't have, like I said in a previous meeting, we do not have to figure all of this out all by ourselves. You know, so let's kind of leverage some of the management resources that we have available to us and see if there's a best practice or a template or something like that that we could refer to through Center for Local Government or another resource, that maybe we can start from there, see how it works. Again, evolve the process, and so that we're not having this communication difficulty moving forward. We're going to work together on solving that problem. I think we can do that.
Well, Ms. Clear, since both you and Ms. Zorb have attended this training and you said extensively went over this issue, do you both want to work together to reach out back to them to see what you can find?
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
I just checked my email. We have the email of all the documents. So we have them all electronically. We have them all.
Well, look at that. Look at God.
I can either distribute them to all of council or just use them as the template. Which do you prefer?
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
suggestion, we review the documents with them and make sure if there's any, so we can tweak it. Thank you, good work. That for our city and things that we need. And I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not putting anything on my plate. I'm just going to leave that to you guys to figure out who's going to work on that.
So who am I sending this to?
Madam President. Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I wouldn't mind working with administration and Ms. Zorb and Ms. Curitan to work on this template so that it's nice and smooth.
Done.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
thank you so much. It was I who actually asked for the qualitative and quantitative data, so it would be an honor to get that. And I know that, so thank you so much for expressing your sentiments. I just want to maybe clarify something that you mentioned. And it was also I who requested the briefing. It is my assumption that that would be something that you knew to do. And that assumption was probably wrong. So I'm glad that we're now having this discussion because we don't know what tomorrow holds. We hope that things are going to be brighter for North College Hill. In fact, I am very, very optimistic that things will be brighter for North College Hill. But in the event that something of that magnitude ever happens in North College Hill, I would love for there to be something in place, and I'm not going to use the word process, but something in place so that those who are duly elected in this city will be able to have the information, not from hearsay, but from those who are actively working towards it. The second point that I wanted to make was that the time frame, I did mention 9 days because the incident happened on February the 18th, and council got nothing until February the 25th. But that is now water under the bridge. We have, I think, the information that you provided on the 25th. But I was just thinking because of that gap, it wasn't, the information didn't come because it was just, hey, council, I want to make you informed. It was because it was a request. And so in my mind, I'm thinking of something of this magnitude that occurs, it would just be helpful. Let me just go ahead and let our mayor know, whomever else needs to know, and let me also inform our council so that they're always in the know. And one more thing I wanted to mention is that template, that's really good. But I didn't want to lead in a directive. I wanted you to use whatever creative measures that you wanted to use to report the information. And so, but now I see that it's better for council, so we can definitely do that. And then I believe, too, that there is a way to capture quantitative and qualitative data for every department, including recreation. It might not be as extensive as it is for any other department, but I do believe there is a way that we can capture that. So thank you for sharing your sentiments. We really appreciate that. And I look forward to what the future reports for the city will look like.
So just to clarify, so we've already named the people that are going to work with the administration on working on this template and to kind of delve into some of this information that Ms. Zorb and Ms. Clear brought back from their training. Thank you for that, for going to the training and bringing back that information to us. Is there any way that we could try to have some info back to us by maybe the next council meeting? If not, maybe the one after that? I would just love to hear where we are on this process. Excellent. Okay. Did you have anything else?
I do. So we do have an internal document that we follow to give briefings. That particular incident does not fall under that scope. So I don't know if you want me to bring that forward and we can look at it and revise it. But once you asked for the briefing, which was on the 20th, I complied.
Thank you.
So it sounds like that might be something, as the aforementioned council members that are going to be working with you on this template, you can also bring forward that briefing template and see how that marries up to what other cities have been using. Cool?
Actually, it is a collective of other cities.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you.
Madam President, I forgot to ask one question.
Real quick, because we are past you. Go on.
That's okay. Ms. Clear, Jillian, did you receive anything from the Ohio Ethics? I'm
Like
asking because you did or you didn't.
Like an email? I don't believe I received
Okay,
an
I was
email.
asking because I knew that it was coming up, and
I did.
so usually the clerk would say something, and I was like, I wonder if they have her email. So, because the clerk would get it and they would send it out to the rest of council, because we have until the 15th of May.
Yes.
So I just was curious. So if other council members are getting it, then we're cool.
All right. Mr. Dieters, Law Director?
Madam President, I do not have a report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do not see Ms. Stevens not in attendance. So we will move forward to our call of members. Ms. Zorb?
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to ask Ms. Jillian Clear a question. So two things now. So how do we confirm that the Ethics Board has your email address in order to communicate to us? So we need, if I could ask you to maybe follow up with them to make sure that they have you listed and remove Mr. Hedger.
Madam President.
And then the second thing would be, going back to when Ms. Stugstein was talking about the fraud report. I know after I spoke to Ms. Stugstein, she referred me, I just assumed that you guys, that administration would have some information from the auditor, because I know the auditor's been here, so I just taking the easy road out, forgive me. I then reached out to our clerk and asked her, and I believe she sent an email to all of the council. So council, if you have not done that, please get on it, take care of it, send your certificate, your completed certificate to the clerk as soon as possible. Thank you.
Madam President.
Ms. Gaston? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, I was moving forward with call of members. I apologize, but we don't have any back and forth during the call of members, so. I know, but we're not doing any back and forth during this time. Ms. Gaston, you would go for it?
Well, on a brighter note, I had a lot of fun with some of our fellow council members going to the basketball games. Those boys, oh my gosh, they are so talented. Congratulations on all the games. That's all I have for tonight. I'm just happy for our boys in our school and everyone doing well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Gaston. Ms. Alexander?
Well, I was just going to remind everybody about the financial disclosure that's due on May 15th. And happy spring break. That's all I have.
Ms. Curitin?
Thank you so much, Madam President. I too was at that game, and unfortunately we came up short. But, you know, one thing I noticed about our coaching staff, our young men, the parents, and the supporters, everyone understood that even though we lost one, we've come a lot farther than what we've been in many, many, many years. So to even make it to this semifinal regionals, I think is a big accomplishment. We are very blessed to have the coaching staff of Coach Orlando Gentry. We're also very, very blessed to have the leadership of Dr. Eugene Blaylock in our city schools. We're very, very blessed to have players that really are out there to really play the game. And again, although they came up short, they really had a lot of fortitude, a lot of, I want to say attitude too, and they were really able to play ball. It was a really, really, really good game. So shout out to the North College Hill basketball team. I also just want to make a couple of comments. I know that we're still in the growing phases. And of course, if you are ever in a relationship, there are times in which when you first start dating, it's all beautiful, and you're holding hands and you're walking through the park and I love you and you hang up first. No, you hang up first. And then you start, having that person come to your home, and then you may notice certain traits or characteristics about that person. It's like, oh, they do that. They left their dish in the sink or what have you. And so, but you learn to work with the person. You learn to grow with the person. And I'm not saying we have to love each other, but what I am saying is that we have a lot of different personalities on council, on our administration. And so I think that we just want to make sure that we understand that even as we enter our first 90 days on council, not to look back at what the others have or have not done, but look at what we can do moving forward to make North College Hill better. Look at the reasons why we are here, why we are sacrificing our evenings from our families, from our stakeholders, and what we can really do. Again, we don't have to always love each other. We don't always have to even go out to dinner, but we can at least just understand what our primary purpose of being here is, and that is to serve the citizens of North College Hill, those who duly elected us to be here. So thank you so much. It's my honor and pleasure. And if you have any questions, citizens watching, you can always reach out to me. I am very accessible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Curitan. Ms. Clear?
Thank you, Madam President. I have two things. First of all, I wanted to let everyone in the room know that unless you already know, that the OKI annual report is now live on their website. They sent that out, notification about that a week or so ago. And it has a lot of good information about projects that they're working on and funding sources and things like that. So check that out if you're interested in some light reading on a 10-hour flight. No, I'm just kidding. Second thing that I wanted to talk about was the training. I wasn't sure if Ms. Orb had mentioned it or not, just kind of the topics that we touched on in training. The first speaker was from the Ohio Plan Risk Management Group, and he had an extensive presentation. I didn't take a bunch of notes on that because they said they would send out the PowerPoint, so that's, I'm assuming, included in the packet of documents that they sent. It was very informative, and the second person who spoke talked about finance and also economic development. Gave us a nice little cheat sheet called Local Government Finance Terms Every Elected Official Should Know. Little quick reference guide, some other information. He had a great packet about economic development, what it is not, which again I found super, super helpful. And the last group that talked to us were the board of directors, some of the members of the board of directors of Center for Local Government. All of them had been years and years working as city administrators for various types of government entities, villages, townships, cities, charter cities, statutory cities. So they had a wealth of knowledge, and they also gave us a nice handout called Elected Official and CAO being your Chief Administrative Officer relationships, 2 pages, front and back. So that's how much information they shared, what elected officials need from staff, what staff needs from us, important things to remember. So I just found it to be very helpful and just very constructive and very not you're doing it wrong, but here's just some of from my 30 years of experience in this role, what works, what doesn't work, so I found it to be very enlightening, and I'm really glad they sent out the documents. So again, I encourage you to look through it. I also encourage my fellow council members. This isn't the first time I've attended training from Center for Local Government. I did when I was a city employee, because there's certain trainings that are for employees, certain that are for elected officials. I highly recommend you go, not only just for the lecture purposes, but also for networking, to talk to other cities that are also in attendance, and build those bridges to other resources that are out there in the community. Again, we do not have to figure this all out all by ourselves. There's other people who've been doing this for a long, long time, and I think we would helpful to start building those relationships and working through and learning from people who've done this before. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Clear.
Madam President,
Ms. Orb?
may I ask a question, Ms. Clear. So, Ms. Clear, you mentioned the OKI annual report. Is that something that we can sign up for to get that email distribution? Or is that something that you can forward to us? Not that I'm going on a 10-hour
I think I could
flight or
forward it
anything,
to
but-
you, but I thought there was something on their website to subscribe, but maybe not. I know I'm a board member, so I got the notification, but I do know that it is published on their website, the annual report. So I can certainly forward that to council. That's not a problem, and to administration.
I got it. I was there.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Davis?
Okay. First and foremost, North College Hill Neighborhood Alliance introductory meeting has been rescheduled to, it's April 12th, 2026, correct?
I believe so.
April 14th, 2026. And also, I like to piggyback on what everybody said. You know, the winter athletic season has concluded, and I like to, and let's congratulate by name all of our Trojan Athletic who received all conference or all district honors. So Raymari Williams, Jerome Osborne in wrestling. Women's basketball, we got Bria Holmes, Taraji Lattimore, Ramaya Smith, Leasia Peak, and Jariah Mackey. And for boys basketball, we've got Tori Lipscomb, Josh O'Hara, Maurice Watkins, Javion Allen, a name I've said multiple times, Karan Metz, and DeAndre Chambers. DeAndre Chambers also received from the Miami Valley Conference the Snyder Award as a person who stood out for sportsmanship and integrity. Congratulations to everybody over there. Like I said, I want to make sure that we speak as well on things when things are going well as we do when things are not. So keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep shouting y'all names out. I just got to learn how to pronounce them all. Y'all take care.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Ms. Chichester?
Thank you, Mr. Davis. And I guess I'll start where you left off. I remember when I first met Coach Orlando Gentry, and I saw that young man. I told him he was going to do great things in NCH, and I am happy to have been supporting you and the team and you guys. Thank you for all the hard work and all the community work you've done over this whole season. And I look forward to seeing what we do next year. We'll be coming back bigger and stronger. Okay, few things. I am part of the tree commission now, so we're planning an Arbor Day event that weekend. I think Arbor Day is on a Thursday, but we're planning an event on that Sunday to plant, because on that Saturday we have a city recycling event, which I think the dates are maybe the 23rd and the 24th. Don't quote me on that. Some communication and flyers will be coming out soon on that. Also, thank you to code enforcement this past weekend. There was a huge right wire down on my street because of the windstorm, and there was a awning or something that was blown off, and listen, took care of it ASAP. And thank you to the Duke crews that came out and took care of that as well. Those guys worked during the worst conditions to make sure we all have power and stay safe. Also, speaking of our NCH school superintendent, if you have Star 64, go back and check out the interview he did with Cincinnati Issues. He was on the Lincoln Ware radio show and continued the conversation on to the Cincinnati Issues TV show, which I think is Star 64, which it aired on around 6 o'clock Sunday morning if you were awake. Also, number 5 on my list this month is Women's Month, Women's History Month. I had the pleasure, along with the other councilwomen and mayor, to go down to Hamilton County and take a group photo. We all wore our purple, and we all joined together. There was an engagement event afterwards, which Mayor and I attended, and it was a great networking, building those community relationships with other women across the county. The event theme was, I hope I'm getting this correct, Mayor, you could tell me, Stronger Together. Making sure we all left there with each other's contacts and talking about issues that we may have, and maybe, hey, have you dealt with this in your city before? Yes, we have. This is how we've solved it. Just making those connections. There is also going to be a quarterly event planned. And I think, but it's not set in stone, our city may be hosting that first event, but details will come out about that later too as well. She gonna kill me. It was me. But it was a great event, to see all the women in the county who are elected officials or just holding various offices within our county. So, and that is all I have for now.
Madam President, if I could, about a date.
Hold on, let's clarify that later. Like I said, we have no back and forth during this
It's
section.
not back and forth, but, okay.
I don't mind.
All right, further remarks from the audience? Okay, and now we're to the section for executive session, and this is under 122-22, sections G1 and G3. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion that at this time we move to executive session under the Ohio Revised Code 121.22, G1, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, and Section G3 for conferences with any attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject for pending or imminent court action.
Do I hear a second?
Madam President, I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Zorb to go into executive session under 122-22, sections G1 and G3. Roll call.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
before we go into roll call, just a point of
Clarify your
Yep.
invitees.
All of council, our mayor, our city administrator, our law director, and our interim police chief.
Thank you for that clarification. Roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston.
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Keratin.
Yes.
Ms. Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
to the legislation part of the evening.
What time is it? 9:20.
Ms. Clear?
We have a first reading of Resolution 04-2026, a resolution to authorize the city administrator to execute a collective bargaining agreement between the City of North College Hill and the Fraternal Order of Police, Ohio Labor Council Incorporated.
Madam President, if I could make just one comment before there's even a motion on it.
Sure.
If that's
Go
okay.
ahead.
There is one small section in the insurance section as it relates to the high deductible plan that we're still trying to like iron out with the FOP. I don't believe it has any material effect in any capacity on any kind of compensation or money or anything. So if you were going to do a first reading, I think you could still do the first reading. It just may mean that there might be a different version of that section that would be in front of you when you do the second reading. But there's no material change. It's just some wording issues that we're still trying to work out that just came to light last
So
week.
basically, you're stating it does need a second reading because
I think so. I don't think you're going to
Okay.
be able to move it through because that's still kind of hanging around there.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorg?
I'm sorry, Mr. Diaz, can you rephrase what you just said? What is it? Just,
If you look at the insurance
Just
section of the
insurance.
contract.
That's all I need.
And
Thank
there's
you.
some language about the HSA and some issues related to it that we've kind of got crossed ways on that we have to work out, but they don't have anything to do with any expenditure of funds or any differences of benefits. They're just some wording issues.
thank you, sir.
All right, Ms. Claire? Unless there's any other discussion.
We have a first reading of Resolution 05-2026, a resolution adopting community health, wellness, and sustainability framework for the City of North College Hill and declaring an emergency.
Madam President?
Mr. Davis?
Yes, okay. So on the second page, there's a point where it says insert brand name initiative. Would that be considered, would it become the health and all policies initiative, or is that a name that we're looking and trying to come up with?
Madam President, Ms. Clear is the one who sent this, and that was blank, and I just sent it the way you had it, so I figured you were going to come up with a name.
Madam President?
Ms. Claire?
The answer is yes and yes. So the so this is when we discussed it in committee, coming up with a brand name for the program itself, kind of analogous to Hamilton County Public Health has We Thrive, right? So that's something that we would come up with internally, and I can't remember. I did send a one-on-one email to Ms. Gaston and asked if we could discuss that in community committee, because it's going to be a community-facing program, and maybe we can come up with branding or a name, but I don't believe that affects the material point of the legislation. It will need a second reading, though, I would.
So it's kind of similar to the last issue?
Yeah, it's not going to materially change anything. It's just putting a name to the program so that we can begin to do some branding and get some things out to the
So we'll
community.
let
But I
this go
believe
on
it will
for-
need a second reading.
So we'll let this go on to another reading.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, for bringing attention to that. Ms. Claire?
We have the first reading of Resolution 06-2026, a resolution to adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court as a part of the 2026 National Fitness Campaign.
Madam President.
Ms. Gaston?
So I spoke with our city administrator about this piece of legislation, and it can go through 3 readings. So if we want to ask questions, I plan to have this talked about extensively next Monday in the CCDR committee meeting. So if you guys have questions, you can ask now. But I encourage all of council to join me on Monday so more questions can be asked. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gaston.
Mm-hmm.
Madam President.
Ms. Chichester?
So, twofold. Are we waiting to ask questions on this, or can I ask one question? It's about deadline.
Ms. Gaston?
So, to my knowledge, they are aware that council is going to go through 3 readings, so the
Okay.
deadline has been pushed back just a little bit.
Okay.
And it just gives us more time to talk about it. Now, if we choose to suspend readings at our next council meeting, that's up to us, but it gives us more time to discuss it.
Do we have so the deadline is being extended?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. If there isn't any further discussion, that is the end of our legislation part of the evening. Any old business?
Madam President,
Real quick before you state your piece, Ms. Dukestein, Madam Mayor, you wanted to give a clarification on a date?
Yes, when I talked to, thank you, Madam President. When I spoke to Ms. Williams, she stated to me that the Arbor Day will be on Arbor Day, the program, which will be Friday, I believe, April 26th. She did not give me a time, but she said that was the day that she wanted to do the proclamation.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
Arbor Day's on the 24th. Are we moving it
Is
to
that
the
a,
event?
maybe I was thinking of the
Friday,
previous
the
year.
24th.
Is that the 24th?
I
I'm
thought
sorry,
so.
whatever the 24th, that Friday is. I thought
So-
it was the 26th, but Ms. Chichester is saying it's the 24th.
26th is a Sunday.
Okay, well, it's that Friday,
Okay.
the 24th.
Okay, so posterity's sake this is being done on the 24th.
24th.
Okay,
It's the 24th.
thank you for that. Ms. Dukestein?
I also had a clarifying question during the call of members, when Ms. Chichester was asking about the Arbor Day. I wanted to make sure, because I believe that the tree committee does not prefer that we have our city recycling cleanup day on the same day as Arbor Day, and we were trying very hard to not be conflicting. So looking at the calendar, if we're saying March 2026 is the 24th is a Tuesday, so are we saying the 27th?
April.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Okay, 24th of April. Okay, so this has not gone out in any other communication, but the cleanup day will be the 18th. It's going to come out of April. It's going to come out in the newsletter. And then when we were also in the call of members, I was going to tell Jillian that I filled out a form for council in January that came to me, updating your information with the state of Ohio and Ohio Board of Ethics. So your information should be up to date. I did it electronically, and I sent the paper copy back. And then I just wanted to, on that same topic, you have 90 days from the time that you were sworn in to complete your fraud training. So technically, if you haven't done it, you're past time. And then I think that's it.
You can do that online too.
Madam President,
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Curita?
repeat that last statement again, Ms. Dukestein.
You have 90 days from the time you're sworn in to complete your fraud training.
Yeah, but you said if anyone hasn't done it.
I said technically, if you haven't done it, you're past time.
Madam President,
Okay.
Ms. Gaston?
just for clarification for anybody who has not done it yet, March 31st is 90 days.
Yes.
I just don't want anyone to freak out.
Okay, thank you
March
for that.
31st.
Sworn in. You're sworn in whenever
So-
the date you were sworn in.
Okay, so I was sworn in January 1st.
January
So I
1st.
have until March 31st, and at least you have to the 31st, Kathy.
I've already done it.
So, okay.
It's
okay,
a- it's
cool.
an Madam President,
Ms. Sorry, Ms. Clear.
it's an 8-minute video.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can do this while you're waiting for commercials on Netflix, or so it's
Madam President.
it's only like 7 or 8 minutes, and then I think this is the one where you have to wait for them to do the certificate, and then you have to
Yes.
log back in, and then pull down your certificate, something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it's either that one or the other one. One of them they don't do the certificate immediately.
Right.
So, and pro tip, don't finish the video and then forget to take the quiz, because then you have to do the video all over again.
Thank you, Ms. Clear.
So,
Madam President.
Ms. Zork?
So, if you have taken it, Ms. Clear is keeping a spreadsheet. Please make sure you send that certificate to her so you can check it off on this, so she can check it off on the spreadsheet. And I know when I took it, I got my email, the certificate immediately, so,
Thank you for that clarification, Ms. Zorb.
sure
Madam
thing.
President,
Ms. Gaston?
I have
Sorry.
2 pieces of old business.
Okay.
So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit more before the CCDR committee meeting next Monday. But do we have the names of the individuals who are a part of the Recreation Commission? And when have they met last?
They have not met yet because, I'm sorry, Madam President. One of the people have not, she's actually moved
Oh, no.
out of the community. So that means I need to replace her. And I did talk to Dr. Blaylock about his person, and he has not gotten back with me. But he said he's pretty sure he wants to keep the one that he has.
Okay.
So they haven't met. So it's just a matter of, I want to make sure that we're ironclad with who we have.
Okay, cool. And lastly, we could talk about this over email, but I do want to get a meeting on the books so that we can solidify the parameters around ARPA and move forward with that conversation so that we can make a decision as a council and do something with our building.
Madam President,
Ms. Dukestein?
Ms. Gasson, I have not forgot. I'm still working on that. I have been slow to work on it though, because I've been trying to satisfy all the grants, which I'm excited to say a lot of them have been rolling in, but just the workload on that. So I've sent an email and waiting for response. I'll follow up again tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Madam President. I'm
Ms.
sorry.
I apologize.
I heard her at the same time. Then I said,
Ms. Curitin?
go first.
no, I was just gonna say, I'll try to see if I can get those names nailed down by, not this meeting, because I'm not sure if I'll be there, but the next one, if not before.
Thank you, thank you.
Ms. Curitin?
Thank you so much, Madam President. I just wanted to ask in old business if we were able to make any progress on the Metro grants, the dollars that Metro has for our city.
Madam President.
Ms. Dukestein?
So, yes, I haven't officially submitted the application, but I sit on the Stakeholders Advisory Board for Metro, and I went to that meeting last week just to get, and a part of that meeting is getting tips and tricks on how to apply and what we can apply for. It's not due until May, so I'll be working on it. I've already made some contacts that will be helpful in determining how we will apply for the grant. I will tell you that we've received some dollars in the past, and so because of those dollars that we've received in the past, we can't apply for them for the same area. And some of the areas where we have gotten those grants are already messed up again, and that we're on the list, because what I first did was made a list of the areas that we could possibly use the dollars.
Okay.
Madam President.
Ms. Gaston?
I am so sorry. I'm just full of it today. So many questions. Number one, I know we've talked about this extensively and it kind of fell off the radar, but I kind of wanted to get a consensus from council about what you guys would like to have as our council t-shirt. I have a suggestion, doing a white Oxford collar shirt with our blue and green logo, something that is clean, is very professional. It is white and it's not on another color. And it would have, of course, our logo and all that stuff on there. I did speak with Ms. Dukestein about who her vendor was, but I'm not sure if the vendor can do the Oxford collared shirts. So I just wanted to see what you guys think. Are you partial to the polos, or would you like to try something different this go round?
Madam
President.
Sorry.
Ms. Chichester?
Can we not do white? Can we do navy blue or green, just or gray, just not white?
So I thought about that and I played with that a little bit, but the problem is the logo. So we need something to have our logo pop. Someone had mentioned tan, and the gray did pop up as well. What I will do is, once we solidify the vendor and that's something they can do, we can do pictures of the 3 different colors. So white, navy blue. Is that what you?
Yeah,
Navy
because I know
blue.
navy's in our logo, and so it's green. So maybe just not white, because white tends to
Just the logo part, 'cause I can see
get destroyed faster for me.
Don't have no
Madam
picture.
President,
Ms. Clear?
honestly, I have no issue with the shirts that we already have. The polos, I mean, unless we're going someplace formal, most of the time, I would be wanting to wear a polo anyway, but I don't personally see why we would, I'm fine with the polos and whatever the city is already acquiring for other city staff. So
Madam
that's just my thought process. And I want to say those are like a heather gray color. So I also, please no white. It will not be white for long if I'm wearing it in Edith.
Madam President,
So,
Ms. Dukestein?
our current vendor can do Oxfords. We have it on gray. It actually looks very nice. But choose whatever color you will. But they do an embroidered on an Oxford shirt.
Okay.
It's a men's cut though.
Yes.
More breathing room for me.
I mean, you have to just give me one then.
Madam President.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
Thank you so much. I don't mind. I just want something that we can wear that when we are out in the community, like the basketball game, it'll have been really cool to have those shirts on, or anywhere that we're in the community. So if in fact council agrees and has a consensus that we don't need to reinvent the wheel, that's kind of been what we've been talking about this evening, is the process that Jillian would then need to fill out our new, you're saying yes? Okay, that's not a problem. I don't know if we need to add this to a committee or if we just want to, as a consensus. How would you, Madam President, recommend we move forward?
Well, I think that Ms. Gaston was stating that she was going to get some examples of what they would look like.
I will give you
Maybe if by the next, would you be able to do that by the next council meeting, you think?
Oh, absolutely.
So maybe if you come back at the next council meeting, give us some, maybe model it for us.
Oh, you know I will.
Then we could maybe do a consensus. Then we could do a consensus vote at that point. Just give us some examples to look at first.
Perfect. I will do that.
Any other old business?
Madam Chair,
Oh, I apologize, Ms. Zorb.
yeah, so my only comment to the existing color is, so I do have one of the existing ones, and it's washed through there. You can't see the logo. It's too close. The logo is too close to the color of the shirt, and it just doesn't stand out at all.
Madam President,
That's my only critique.
that was me.
Ms. Nichols.
Is your shirt gray?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know it washes on the white. When we initially did it, they sent over samples and they would put it on different things. The one I saw it didn't pop as much as this. The other gray is more like the gray in your sweater. Do you think it's that dark? Or a little lighter?
It's darker than this.
Yeah,
Heather Gray is
referring to
lighter.
the
The
t-shirt?
Oxford.
Oh, the Oxford.
the Oxford.
I have
No,
a
you
polo.
have a polo.
I have a polo.
Oh, okay.
But I think on the white,
It
because
shows up better on the T-shirt than it does on the
the
polo.
logo, the background is white. So, I don't know.
We can figure it out.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for the.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston.
I actually had two pieces.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just for clarification, I know when we talked about the UC grant to go towards our outdoor fitness center, we were really excited about that, but there's an additional grant of $100,000. Do you know the name of that grant?
No,
And where it came
it's
from?
through Hamilton County.
Okay, that was all. Was that an insurance claim or insurance claim? Was it like an insurance grant? I don't know what I'm trying to ask.
No,
Or was it just a health initiative?
It was recreational.
Oh.
I know that it spanned across because initially I was thinking about, and I'm sorry for not saying, Madam President. Initially we had looked into using it to do the painted boxes, and those are $1,400 a piece. It's like a 2-year-long project, and based on the feedback that Finneytown/Springfield Township got once they spent the money to do it, the residents were very upset because they felt like the money could be better used another place. So,
Okay. Thank you. I am done, Madam President, for the rest of the night.
Hold you to it. All right, if there's no other old business, Any new business?
Madam
Madam
President,
President,
She is president.
Okay. Instant replay. Who was first? Would that have been Ms. Alexander? Go first.
I'll go first. I would like to remove myself from the Public Safety Committee. And by next council, I'll tell you what other committee I'm gonna pick up.
Excellent. So you need some time to think on it.
Yeah, scheduling,
I got you. I
things.
got you. Okay. Was that?
Yeah, oh, that's it. And I think we gotta
Madam
vote on
President?
it or whatever. Do we gotta-
I-
oh, yeah, we gotta vote on it.
would like to make a motion to remove Council Member Marshala Alexander from Public Safety.
Okay. That's what I was just going to ask for. You were second. Do I have a second?
Madam President, I'll
Yes, Ms.
second.
Clear. So I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Clear to remove Ms. Alexander by her request from the Safety Committee. Roll call?
Ms. Sorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Curitan,
no, just kidding, yes.
Ms. Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
I was gonna be the one that said no.
Ms. Chichester. Motion passed 7-0.
I'm gonna get you, Kathy. That
You
was
were
good.
you were so surprised.
That was good. With
Okay,
authority.
who was my second person who wanted to speak during new
I-
business?
I wasn't sure if there was someone else before me.
Go ahead.
I just needed to make council aware I will not be in attendance at the April 6th council meeting.
Okay.
Madam President?
Yes.
Do I need to say why or?
Oh, hold on one second. No.
No? Okay.
No. Good. Real quick, if you're moving on to our next favorite section, I think Ms. Curitan wanted to say
No,
something.
I'm still in this chase.
I got you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. Sorry I called you Madam Chair. I believe I heard Ms. Chichester mention that she's on the tree commission, but I don't think we voted to appoint you. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint I don't think we,
Madam President,
Not formally. Sorry,
I
Madam
thought we did it during the council meeting where someone asked a council member to stand up to be a part of that commission, and then I said I would, and then we appointed me at that meeting.
Well, here's the thing. Let's just do it again.
Okay.
Just for clarification's sake, because the thing is, we're very happy that you're on the tree commission. Let's just make it doubly official.
Madam
Okay, so I have a
President,
motion on the floor from Ms. Zorb. Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester.
I second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Zorb and a second from Ms. Chichester to really, really appoint Ms. Chichester to the tree board. Am I saying that board correctly?
Yes.
tree commission.
Tree commission. Thank you. Discussion?
Madam President, Ms. Chichester is a double tree board member.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Roll call?
Ms. Sorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander, Ms. Curitan,
Yes.
Ms. Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
No.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
If you were going to vote no on your own commission, I don't know what I was going to do with you.
It passed.
Anyone else have any old business?
Madam President,
We're on new.
Ms. Gaston.
I would like to make a motion that we adjourn
Oh,
tonight's
wait, hold on.
I-
Like I did state that Ms. Curitan did have something to add.
Oh, who got
I didn't
more
forget you, Ms.
business?
Thank you so much, Madam President. A couple of things that I just wanted to inquire on from our administration. Do you all know what's going on with Frisch's?
Yes and no. The no is, I don't know where the update is from the most recent information that I have, because that's been a few months back.
Mhm.
They had an auction, and an auctioneer won and they couldn't get the finances to support the amount that it auctioned off for. So then they go down on the list, and then that person couldn't either, so they open it back up. And then they had another person come forward, and I have not heard anything since. But I know that it was on the books to have sold for over $800,000.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other question that I wanted to ask under new business was actually two things. One is I'm so excited that you're applying for grants. I mean, that's just free money. So I love that, and we can definitely use it. Do you have around about an average? Doesn't matter where it funnels to, but like an average amount we can expect in Q1 or even starting in Q2?
For grant return,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I don't. I know that I can give you a few that we've, we're probably sitting somewhere around 150.
Okay.
Over.
Okay, fair.
But that is with grants we've secured,
Okay. That's even
not
better.
including the ones from last year that
Yeah.
we haven't used.
That's even better. Okay, good. And then my last question is that I wanted to make sure, we talked about it briefly. I just wanted to make sure that you all, you and the mayor, our Mayor Nichols, I think you were on that email regarding safe routes. Great. We want to go ahead and make sure, I just want to make sure that you all got that communication and that you will at some point get a chance to respond.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes.
I have
Ms. Dukesteen.
a clarifying question for Ms. Clear. Ms. Clear, did you tell, I have something on my calendar for 2 p.m. this Friday. Is that for safe routes also? Because I have safe routes there.
That's where you're at.
Madam Chair, or President,
Ms. Clear.
I believe that Ms. Russell plans to attend that meeting and give an update on the safe routes. So if you could attend, or if there's anyone from administration, I know we briefly discussed for 5 seconds after one of these meetings, this process. So if there's anyone who could attend. And we try to keep the meetings earlier because because there's a lot of city staff involved, and we don't want to have you work all day long and then come back for a meeting at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, right? So, but if anyone can attend Friday at 2, who might be of interest in that program, that could support the program, that would be great.
So with that, is that detailing how we might be able to utilize the money and the grant dollars that we can apply for? Because isn't that also through the school?
It's the idea is that and you asked me to email it to you as well. That it is essentially a person who would serve as like a coordinator or a liaison. So they would work with the school and the city and any community partners. That would be their function with regard to that process. So to kind of help streamline and manage, getting that rolling, getting it off the ground.
So with that, Ms. Kearton, in my opinion, I think it would be better if we got that information and then had your meeting, so that we can take the information from the meeting that's essential at 2 on Friday, and then have the meeting that you are wanting to have.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. The communication I have from Paige Russell on Friday seems to differ just a tad bit from what we discussed this evening. But in her email, she's ready to get rolling with North College Hill. And so we have two components. One is the financial, the grant opportunity, and then actually having Dr. Blaylock's interim chief Cheney at the table, including yourself and Mayor Nichols, to kind of think what direction we want to go in. So yeah, I think we do want to choose one of the dates that she has offered, because that conversation may go in a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry, I actually have my own comments outside of the question. So I forgot to say this in my administrative report, and it probably would have come from Ms. Shiva Stevens, not had she been here. So Rita so we were doing the subpoena, the administrative subpoenas, and they're collecting on old accounts. And so the dollars that we've collected since we entered that program are in excess of $150,000. A little less than that, but give or take that. So why that's important and impressive is that is not revenue that we were counting on. So that's like, I won't say free money because it's owed to us, right? But it's just revenue in the year that we were not anticipated. So I just wanted to give an update and progress report for that particular program. And then the other thing is Mayor Joe distributed the elected official CAO relationship. And I read through the top of it, and it says, what derails top executives? A poor relationship was the most frequent factor, being too harshly criticized, insensitive, demanding, rigidity, being unable to adapt to their style, the changes in the organization, the culture, or where they were unable to respond to feedback about traits they needed to change or improve. And so I think that goes both ways. And I know in a few spaces I have said to you all, I am not holding on to any past. I'm definitely trying to build trusted relationships with you all. I hope that you receive that with the efficacy that it's being said. And I think that this piece of paper already has presented value, and thank you for sharing that. I am here for the teamwork.
Madam President.
Ms. Zorb.
So, thank you for the Rita update, Ms. Dukestein. I am curious, though, out of the 100K, do you have any idea how many individuals that is? I'm looking for our $1. How much do we get on our return on investment on our $1 subpoena?
It's about 3,500.
So,
So we spent $3,500 in subpoena dollars, but all of those 3,500 individuals have not returned with dollars.
okay, so we spent $3,500, but we don't know how many of those people are in this $100,000 that we collected.
No,
Okay.
but that's a good return for $3,500.
I'll give you 3,500 for 100.
Okay.
Any other new business?
Madam President,
Yes.
I just wanted to make a comment back to the Safe Routes to School. We were in partnership with the school district back in March of 2020. I was looking at the resolution here, so it may be something that we want to just remind me. I don't think I was on that email either. I think Ms. Dukestein, so if someone could forward it to me,
I can.
that would be great.
Thank you. Any other new business?
Madam President.
Hold on, if you're going with, Ms. Gaston already made that motion, would you like to second that motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't hear that.
I have ears like a bat when it comes to adjournment. So I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Chichester to adjourn. Roll call.
Ms. Sorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston.
Yes.
Ms. Alexander. Ms. Curitan.
Yes.
Ms. Clear.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.